this week we hosted prominent Kenyan journalists to the Netherlands.
The Port of Rotterdam has a lot of experience in what type of facilities, equipment you need at those container terminals, but also the cold stores that you need in able to store the produce at certain temperatures.
Just seeing how massive in terms of scale that port is, throughput is immense, and the organization of the port and the fact that they actually give consultancy services to other ports.
Kenya being a country that is seeking to expand their port, and of course coming up with a new port in Lamu, I believe Netherlands is one of the countries that they can, especially the Port of Rotterdam, they can get a lot from that.
Hi!
We created greenhouses to a controlled situation where we can hardly control a lot of things. And the next generation is that we are growing in vertical farming. That means that we can grow on totally controlled circumstances with artificial light, artificial soil, so we can try to produce a lot of healthy food for a reasonable price.
I feel like my perspective about health and innovation has changed, especially coming to a country who leaps ahead of health and innovation as Netherlands is.
Seeing the whole value chain from seed breeding to really when it gets to your plate, and what that looks like, the market dominance that we have in the globe, some of the issues we need to address in terms of safety, phytosanitary concerns. It's been exciting, man. It's really been exciting.
Royal Florent is the main marketplace for flowers and plants in the world. In a year we sell approximately more than 10 billion flowers and plants at our marketplace. Most flowers that we are handling here are coming from the Netherlands. In second place comes Kenya, in third comes Ethiopia.
I never thought that we export such amount of flowers in plenty. Also, as a Kenyan, I'm proud that our government is pushing to ensure that business is growing, and farmers, especially those who grow the flowers, are able to export their flowers out of the country.
But this is also nowadays still the one we did the trading company. The modern reason for it.
I think if we also look at the damage that can occur from flooding every single year, the frequency of these damaging events in African cities, especially in places like Nairobi, for example, Mombasa, every year there is impactful flooding, whereas in Europe we don't see that as much. So investing in your annual maintenance as well is hugely important.
I've learned so much about the connection that as Kenyans we have, and I've clearly seen how there's a lot of potential.
So I think as we mark 60 years of bilateral ties, there's a lot to take stock of. There's a lot to further, especially now in the post-Brexit era. There are emerging issues around AI. Can we explore partnerships in that area for mutual benefit? So I think there's a lot of headroom in terms of how we can better our relations. There's nothing like it. And I think journalists need to get that on-the-ground experience to really appreciate the nuances that come with this dynamics, just how complex the entire cold chain and value chain transport is.
I've seen the Dutch people being very daring. I've seen them being very, deliberate in everything that they do. And that level of commitment that I've seen here, the zeal that they have, I think that is something that we as Kenyans need to adopt going forward, if we are to develop, the way they've done.
This was like a wake-up call to maybe the country to try and enhance matters to do with business and bilateral relations with different countries, at least so that we may report it to Kenyans and tell Kenyans that indeed the government is working hard to try and bring other countries on board so that your products can be able to be exported.
I think I've seen a lot of things we can pick from the Netherlands, in particular Amsterdam and The Hague, that we can implement here in terms of automation of services, for instance. There's a lot of things are automated, starting with the airport. Something as simple as checking in your luggage, so automated. A lot of these things are still manual back here, and we can see how much time and money it saves when you automate things.
Maybe next time, not just journalists, come with legislators, people who sit at the decision-making tables, and so that they help push the agenda.
We had a lot to share about the bilateral relations between the Netherlands and Kenya. So we visited the World Horti Center, we visited the Port of Rotterdam, the World Museum, a conversation with youth, TU Delft to learn more about the technologies within our health partnerships, and it gave an overall good idea of the strong bilateral ties between Kenya and the Netherlands, in which we celebrate 60 years this year.